Hi, everyone, and welcome to the world of stress. I was tooling around on Facebook and I saw something that really cracked me up. Those of you who remember the movie Back to the Future, if you don't, go see it again. The whole trilogy is pretty brilliant. Thank you, Steven Spielberg. But there's a scene where the wild-haired doctor goes to the future, comes back, meets Marty McFly, and wild-eyed, he says, "Marty, don't go to 2020. So there you have it. We have predictions, but we'll get through this and we will be the better for it. We will learn from it. We will create new ways of being. We're already doing that. So what I'd like to talk about today is I've asked people, and I've gotten a lot of questions. I'm going to read some of them about what is it you really want to understand, learn, and know about right now. And people are saying job searching for the age of over 50, beginning a new job and relationship building online remotely, which is great. How to cope and maintain positive interpersonal skills in an environment at work that just doesn't seem very pleasant. That's many places right now. Losing the guilt when terminating an employee because they're not doing a good job, but I know about them personally, and it really hurts me to have to let them go. Another is figure out why my director is always so short with me but nice to other people. And it goes on like that. I must have gotten 40 or 50 of these. And one of the things that's really important is, as I looked for the common denominator, it was all about relationships. And interestingly, that's the work that we at Creative Energy Options have been doing. It seems like forever. It's all about relationships. So it's about relationships at home, relationships at work, relationships in our community, and relationships with ourselves. So I'm going to just talk very briefly today about the core of how I got here. And it really started as I was growing up, and my father was in a family business with his two brothers that was very, as I say, fiscally successful, but emotionally bankrupt. They would fight all the time. So as a kid growing up, I would hear him come home from work and say to my mother, he was always complaining about something. And finally, I must have been, 5, 6, 7 in that range. I said to him one day, "Daddy, if work isn't fun, why do you go there? Why do you do it?" And he looked at me and patted me on the head and said, "Honey, that's just the way it is. And you just do what you need to do." Well, that's the way it was. It's not the way it has to be. So I'd like to give you this little tidbit to take with you about relationships. And think about this for a minute. We are born from a relationship. Two people get together and y'all know what happens. Now we have other ways of doing it with in vitro, etc. But nonetheless, it takes an egg and a sperm to make a kid, right? So we're born from a relationship, through a relationship, and every woman who's listening who has children knows that one. There is some kind of, hopefully, cooperation between this infant baby who is going to be born and the mother as this very complicated process of being birth comes out. So we're born from a relationship, through a relationship, into a relationship. Somebody's there to catch the baby, and then the baby is taken and given to nurses, to the mother on her breast. The father may or may not be there. I don't know. I don't want to judge any of this. I'm just saying, from a relationship, through a relationship, into a relationship. And relationships never go away. So we have to learn, understand, and do a deeper dive into the power of relationships. That's what our work is all about. That's what Don't Bring It to Work is about, the book I wrote, which is about breaking the family patterns that limit success, what we learned as little kids as we were growing up. I learned that work was the enemy as I watched my father, and I had to come back around and see, no, there's a different way of doing it. You don't have to fight all the time. So there is a place in the work that we do where each of us has to understand relationships better. So remember what I just said, from a relationship, through a relationship, into a relationship. And then, of course, there's that relationship we have with ourselves, that inner world that we live in. And we need to understand what pushes our buttons, what makes us so upset if somebody says something. I love what somebody wrote here where they said, where is it? Let me see. Ta-da! It's the one about, I want to figure out why my director is short with me, but not with others. Well, that's going to take some work. So it really is about a couple cups of coffee or tea or something to sit and talk with that person and figure out what's going on. It's all about relationships. Now, next week, I've asked my coaches to begin to add their expertise in this. And the first one next week will be Brenda Thompson, who was one of the first creative energy option breakthrough coaches. She's incredible. So she's a pattern breakthrough coach. She's also an HR expert. She has a master's degree in applied behavioral science from Johns Hopkins. So she comes highly, highly respected and very well studied. Now, what she's going to talk about, which is going to be her topic, and I'm quoting now, is furloughs, layoffs, downsizing. Oh my, how to bounce back when you unexpectedly lose your job or you're put on furlough. So stay tuned next week for Brenda, and she's a wealth of information. If you have other questions, please put them under here, or comments. We love to hear from you. We're here to make this world a better place, and we're here to get through this time. So 2020, even though it's complicated and difficult, can end with a flourish, and we can all have grown and move on during this pandemic. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful rest of the day. Thank you.